What up? What is going on, guys? It's Nick here, back at you with another video. Today's a very important one, and one that's probably overlooked a lot. It's how to prepare for the fantasy football draft. You don't just walk into the draft and expect good things to happen. All right, if you walk into the draft having done nothing, you're not gonna win. I mean, unless you get lucky and you're playing scrubs and it's just some random league online, you're not gonna do good. The most important day of the entire season is the draft. And it's not even close. Yes, waiver wire is important. I'm not good at the waiver wire, so you know what? I'm not even going to tell you guys about that. Go watch something if you want to learn about the waiver wire. But this is for the draft. I'm very good at drafts because I know how to prepare for them. A lot of people just walk in and they're like, I kind of want a later pick. I'll probably just look at the queue. No, don't look at the queue. First thing, make your own rankings. All right? A lot of people, they see, ESPN has average draft positions for everyone. They've got their rankings with all their experts. And you just wait for the draft, and you just take the highest player available at whatever position. So you took a running back, you're like, I want a wide receiver now. Who's their best guy? No, go in with your own rankings. Do the research yourself. Look at the guys that you want to have on your team. And that's how you're going to build your team. So that's the number one thing. Go in with your own rankings and rank them by position. It is good to have overall, so make a top 250. You don't have to edit the top 250. I like to edit like the top 150, but if you guys don't have a lot of time, do just the top 50. Go in and say, all right, I want this. If I'm in the position and I had to take this guy or this guy, I have this guy ranked higher, that's who I'm going to go with, even if some of the experts don't agree with that. But also, break up your rankings into position. So you look at your team, you're like, shit, I've drafted 5 wide receivers in a row. Which isn't terrible, but you're like, I need a running back. Don't just have a rankings with everyone. Be able to have a rankings that's just running back, just tight end, just quarterback. It's so much easier when you're in the draft and you know what, there's 2 rounds left. I need a tight end. Instead of flipping through all the pages, you just have a nice tight end ranking sheet. You look, my number 5 is still available. I'll take him. So go in with an overall ranking, but also go in with positional by positional rankings. Next thing. Do mock drafts, okay? I know sometimes they're tedious and sometimes annoying because you only have like 2 real people in there. I'm going to give you 2 tips for this. One is just go in and do some of them, all right? Maybe do 1 a day, okay? A couple weeks before the draft, just do 1 a day. It doesn't take that long. You don't need to stay for the whole thing, but if you're going to leave, put the auto pick on. Worst thing ever is waiting 90 seconds for someone to pick the thing, all right? Put the auto pick on if you're going to leave. But you don't have to do all of them. Just it's good to get a feel of how drafts go. If you don't want to sit through mock drafts, fantasypros.com has a draft wizard. I believe you can only do a couple a day. But it simulates based on, I believe you can pick the site, but I think it's ESPN is the standard one. You can go in, put all the settings for your league, and say, my league has 3 wide receivers, and there's no ESPN mock drafts to do that. Go to fantasypros.com, their draft wizard. You can set up your settings. Just a positional, but I'm just assuming a lot of people do standard. And it'll simulate a draft. You can pick whatever position. So you want to go from the 7th spot, you just select 7. It simulates the first 6 picks based on ESPN standard average draft position. And then it gives you a 7. It gives you people you can choose. It breaks it down for you for positional by positional rankings. But just go in with your own rankings like it's an actual draft and see how your team ends up. It'll literally take you 3 minutes to do an entire mock draft. And say you can do like 3 of those a day. Try different positions. First one, try at the 1 spot. Then try at the 2, then try at the 3. Next day, 4, 5, 6. This will take you like 10 minutes a day, and it's a great way. You're going to be so much more successful in your drafts because you know, okay, I take 3 wide receivers. I've got a lot of the guys I like at running back are still available at that point, and I have elite wide receivers. Or you go in and you're like, I took the wide receivers. No one I like at running backs left. I'm not going to do that. But if you don't do that, preparing beforehand, you're not going to be successful. You have to prepare for the draft. Another thing, try different strategies. You can't go into a draft. I know I talk a lot about the RB0 strategy, and it is one that I implement a lot, like a large percent of the time. But you can't go in every draft and I'm doing RB0. It's all different. Every draft is different. If you're sitting there and you're like, I'm doing the RB0 strategy, Adrian Peterson's available in the 3rd round, take them. If you have guys ranked higher, take them. But when you're making your rankings, make sure you actually want them more. And when you're doing drafts, if you're taking guys early at the running back spot, but a lot of them are available later, maybe you should be taking the elite wide receivers. But that's only going to happen if you do a lot of mock drafts. So basically, this tip, try different strategies. Try taking, a quarterback in the first round, see how your team ends up. It's easy. Just do a mock draft. It doesn't count for anything. Say, oh, well, I don't like that team. Now you know when you're in draft, don't take a quarterback early, which is something I advise. Always take quarterbacks. Basically, be the last one to take quarterbacks. It's not worth taking them early. If you want to learn more about, I'm going to be making videos on draft strategies for early, middle, and late rounds, and who you should be taking in those rounds, and strategies for quarterbacks versus running backs. I have all these videos for that. I don't want to talk about that now, but you watch those videos and decide for yourself. Do I like taking wide receivers early? Do I like taking quarterbacks early? How do I like my team when I do these different strategies? And then going in, I'm not taking a tight end till at least round 8 and a quarterback till at least round 10. All those other rounds I can take running backs. I looked at the mock drafts that I've done, and if I take wide receivers early, I can get some solid running backs in the middle. I have a general strategy for most of my drafts. Now, every draft's going to be different, but you have at least a general strategy. All right, next thing. It's all about value. And I did harp on this a little bit. Yes, it would be nice to have Aaron Rodgers on your team. But you need to think about, all right, I don't know where he's going right now. Maybe second round. Someone's going to reach on Aaron Rodgers. So maybe I have to take him in the second round. Is he of elite enough status week in and week out to provide you value with your second round pick versus taking someone later, maybe in the 12th and 13th, taking 2 lottery picks? Yes, he's probably going to be better, and those guys you might drop. But in a 10-round difference, where you could be taking A.J. Green in the second round, okay, is it worth taking a quarterback there where, generally speaking, quarterbacks can get you value even if you just stream them every week, where you can't really stream wide receivers or running backs? So it's all about value. You look at your rankings. Maybe you have someone ranked 30th, and the average draft position for them is 60th. It doesn't mean at the 30 spot you have to take them, or you should take them, because you shouldn't. This is why you do mock drafts. You say, I have them ranked 30th, so I have them ranked maybe ahead of some people. But maybe the guy I have ranked for 40th goes also 40th. So at my 30 spot, I shouldn't be taking the guy that goes on average 60th overall that I have ranked 30, because I know I can get him at 50 overall. So you don't have to reach for people who you think are worth the reach if you know you can get them later. And a lot of people mess that up. They make their own rankings like, yeah, I got this guy in the second round value. Yeah, he might produce second round value, but if you can get him in the 4th round, don't take him in the second round. It's stupid. And people screw that up all the time. They reach rounds and rounds ahead of where they could get someone because they think, this guy's going to be really good this year. Yeah, he might be. And he might produce value better than what you're getting him at. But if you can get him later, get him later. Take the guys that you'd need to spend a higher pick to get if you also like them. Go in with your own rankings. Do your own research. It doesn't matter if you reach a round or 2 ahead if you really like someone. Okay? Don't be reaching like 3-4 rounds ahead. But if he's ranked 10 spots back and you're reaching for him, that's fine. Okay? What I said before is if you have a guy ranked in the 3rd round and he's usually going in the 7th round, don't take him in the 3rd round. Take him in the 5th round. Take him in the 6th round. Do mock drafts, see when you can get him. But don't look at the rankings, because guys are always buried in the rankings. There's always guys ranked at like 150 where you're like, why is he not 75? Like, you have no idea. Don't be a slave to that. Look through the rankings, pick out the guys you like, and move them higher. Move the guys lower. I like to bury people in my rankings. So if I see a guy in the 1st round that I just like, I don't want him on my team, I'll drop him like to 30. Okay? Do that. Play around with the rankings. Look at the guys that you're like, you know what, he might be good, but I just can't week in and week out look at him and be like, he's so injury prone that every time he gets tackled, I cry because I need him to get up. If you don't want that, just bury him in your rankings. Drop him to 200. All right? Then you'll be like, oh, there's only 5 spots, but maybe someone takes him, and you didn't even remember that. And you'll be happy during the draft. You're like, oh, I didn't even remember he was available. I don't want him, but now I actually do think I'm going to get this player that I want. So, to recap, do mock drafts is probably the most important thing. Try it at different positions, try different strategies, and make your own rankings. These are the most important tips. You do that, you're going to be so much better in your drafts. Alright, that's the end of the video. If you watched this far, you at least somewhat liked it. Leave a like, helps me out, helps me know I'm doing good. And leave a comment if you have any other strategies that I didn't think of that you like to implement in your drafts. But that's all I got for you today. Thanks for watching.